psychologist. Get ready to be the best of you with your host, Beverly Zimet.
Hello and welcome to the Beverly Zimet Show, where being the best you has just gotten easier. My guest today is Trina Gunzel from Branson, Missouri. Welcome, Trina. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting day, right? And we're just going to talk about all kinds of great stuff. You know, in some of the information that you sent me earlier, one thing that popped out to me was a dream team, right? So what is this dream team that, that you're talking about? It sounded really interesting. So let our audience know what that dream team is.
Awesome. Thank you for asking that. Kind of the bigger picture behind that, my husband and I have been high school sweethearts and met when we were 15 years old.
Oh, I got chills on that. Oh.
Yeah. So we've been married over 20 years, and we, in our business community, have become known as the dream team because we are a husband and wife team that actually works together. And I know a lot of couples, we work with a lot of families, and they are trying to navigate that piece. Like, how do we work together? How do we have a shared and common reality and be able to offer our gifts and talents to others and have a family business? So we've designed that, and we actually help other entrepreneurs who want to work together be able to create that.
Oh, God, that's so beautiful. I mean, it's so needed, especially now, right? Because we're like socially combined in a small area that we're not used to being there 24/7 with, whether it's just partners or if there's kids involved and everything. And that sometimes can be a challenge. And I know my partner and I, we were together in a business for, oh gosh, like 18 years, and again, it's how do you separate those two things, right? You got your business over here and you got your home over here, and not taking the business home and not taking home to the business when you're in the home, right?
Yes.
And even if you're going to an office, it doesn't matter. How do you separate that mindset when it's all business and when it's personal? So share with the audience how you and your husband have found, that harmony, shall we say, right? How do you make that work?
That's such a good question. We had started off traditionally in those roles of like the 9 to 5, and we weren't seeing each other. I was a teacher full time. My husband was a police officer. And then we decided we wanted to create our own photography studio on the side. So we used that business and grew that together and had an amazing photography studio we ran together for 10 years. But then we found we still weren't having that separation, right? It seemed like work always overflowed into our personal life, and we didn't have structure and balance.
Right.
So then the last 10 years, we've really redesigned our life. We laid everything down. We used to have a mini farm, a huge house, all of these material things, and we have our 2 kids. And when our son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at age 4, we realized this was going to be a constant part of our life, and we had to have a better work-life balance or we weren't going to survive, because literally I had to be up checking my son's blood sugar every 2 hours all night for 8 years because he was so little when he got diagnosed. And so we really decided to structure our life into a power 2-hour workday. And so we have more of a structure. We homeschool our kids, and we have designed it where, whether we're working on marketing or coaching our clients, we really tie it into 2 hours a day. That's just for work. And then the rest, we're doing remodeling, we're teaching our kids, we're fishing, we're outdoors, we're hiking. And that's really helped us have that balance.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned diabetes, right? And
Yes.
a lot of, I don't think a lot of people really realize exactly what that entails, because mostly what we see with diabetics are onset, and older, and you can do it with diet a little bit. Maybe you pop a little pill once in a while, you get a shot. I was actually married to a diabetic early in life, and so he was diagnosed, I think, at 8, right? And some of the challenges, that he had shared with me, and that his mom had shared, and dad, that what it took to take care of a child with that. And you said yours was 4, because the spikes, the highs and the lows, you don't know. I mean, there was numerous times when instantly comatose, right?
Yeah.
And I experienced that even in the adult life, when in early in our marriage, where that happened on numerous occasions. And it's kind of a strange feeling and observation, because when when you go into a diabetic shock, right? You know, okay, you give them sugar and they come out of it. But
Hmm.
when they go into that comatose state, it's completely reversed, but the symptoms are the same.
Yeah.
And how do you know? You know, and so if you're thinking it's one, but it's the other, and you give them sugar, boom, you've got them in comatose. Holy cow, right?
Hmm.
So I can imagine, you know, just from those short few years that I experienced with that, I couldn't imagine being there 24/7 with a child. You know,
Yeah.
so can you share some of the interesting times that you had and some of the scary times, you know, because having a child is one thing. Raising a child that has, you know, any form of issue or something, you know, where they need that little special attention, can be challenging. But at the same time, it's your child, you love them, you do whatever you want, and being able to put yourself down to 2 hour a week because you put that child first is very interesting. What are some of the big hurdles that you had to overcome that maybe our audience is going to be able to fit that in their life, regardless of what that is, right?
Sure.
To maybe make life easier.
Yeah, that's a great question. And thank you for having that compassion and you understand that journey. Um, so when our son was 4, the scariest part was not knowing what was happening to him.
Mm-hmm.
My son has always been a good eater. He slept well. And when he was 4, all of a sudden his, it happened pretty fast. Like within a week, he didn't really want to eat food very much. When he would go to the bathroom, there would be like bubbles, like foam, and I thought he was like eating bubble bath soap. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
And his stomach was hurting, like he was being really constipated, and our doctor didn't know what was going on. They did all of these checks on him, and it never showed up. He was never diagnosed until the night he went actually into a diabetic coma. Um, I was virtually teaching, and I was looking over, and I watched him, and he was like 4, so little, just sitting drinking his milk, watching his little cartoons, and he slumped over in the chair and like passed out. And I was like, something is wrong. We need to get him um, to the hospital right away. And we checked with our doctor because he had been thinking about this. He wasn't sure, but nothing showed up. All the blood sugars showed up fine. And the day my son went into a diabetic coma, his blood sugar was over 900.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so
Wow.
for him, that scary part of he didn't wake up, like it was about 24 hours. They had to slowly give him insulin to bring his blood sugar down. And I remember him waking up and being like, "Hi, mama, I'm back." And um, that whole weekend, our life changed forever. I
Right.
think as a parent, the most basic thing you do is feed your child. And now I was terrified of needles. That's why I didn't go into nursing. My son was terrified of needles. And I was like, "Are you serious, Lord? Like, this is on my plate." But learning how to give him shots, being able to learn how to calculate carbohydrates, things that I'd never
Oh,
considered.
exactly.
Yeah, because it's such a tiny amount of insulin that you have to give them for the food. But Wyatt is a brittle type 1 diabetic. And so his blood sugar would go to 440, like constantly. Um, just knowing how to adapt my life around that, like my husband and I realized we had to work together because it took both of us our full energy to manage what our son needed. And then we still had to create income.
Right.
That's also where we switched to homeschooling. So some parents, maybe they have a child with medical issues. Maybe they have medical issues themselves, like autoimmune, where they can't be around people
Mm-hmm.
as much. In this virtual space, we're finding lots of ways to reach people. If you have a phone, that's what I teach my clients. If you
Exactly.
have a phone, you can work anywhere in the world. And you can still have a connection like this. It's amazing, right? So for us, really thinking outside the box, how can we reach people? How can we help people with maximum time freedom, serve them and deliver the most value? And for us, having a focused 2 hours a day, if we have to do group coaching or we want to do one-on-one coaching or marketing, any of those things, we can be very efficient with our time.
Right.
And so even if I have a really hard night, say my son's blood sugar, say he's sick or something, not doing well, we have a window of 10 to 12 every day. And that seems to work. Even if you had to sleep in because you had a rough night, I can always work 10 to 12. So that's a huge thing. Um, Other scares for him are really these sick days. You know, with the coronavirus right now, we're really limiting exposure to people. But I also feel very prepared, like we built ourselves. You know, we're set up for this. We already homeschooled, we already
Right.
work from home. And so our life hasn't changed a whole lot in that respect, except that business is probably up even a lot more because more people are saying, whoa, you guys are the experts. You've been doing this for 10 years. You know,
Right.
teach me how to have my own business, and we do it as low expense as possible and with the most flexibility possible, which I think people aren't used to that. But when you take control of your business and manage your life and your
Right.
schedule, you can have more freedom.
And again, a lot of it I think boils right back down into that mindset, right?
Yes.
And we've kind of been forced into that. Thank goodness for technology, right? Because back prior to when things like this would have happened, you really didn't have that option because we didn't have the technology to do what we're doing here today,
Great.
right? And so where does it go from there, and what happens, and how do we perform, and what do we do?
Mhm.
So yeah, coming from that standpoint and having that balance is really really great. So your ups and downs, and it's great you put that hours on there, from 10 to noon. Those are great hours,
Right?
right? And you're in central time zone, and it's, I tell you, this doing this show and everything, because I'm connecting with people all over the world,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, so there has to be a starting point, right? A neutral time zone element, and it's like everything here, especially in the United States, builds around Eastern time zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I thought, okay, I would just do that. I'll base everything around Eastern time zone, going over the pond or across the country, and making it specific. So, but there's times when people will say, okay, so what time zone? What time zone are we doing this? And it's like it's easier for me to say, what time zone are you in, and
Yeah.
then I'll give you that and whatever. But oh gosh, I found it interesting, like Australia, because they're actually not just time zone but day zone, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So to be able to figure that out, that's going to be comparable to both of us. If it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon here for me in New Mexico time zone, which is mountain, I can grab them at 8 o'clock in the morning over there, right?
Yeah.
So now it's as they're moving into their day and whatever. So it's not wee hours of the night and stuff. But I'll tell you, it can be a challenge that way, but we can make it work, right? And
That's
it's being
right.
able to work together. So this working from home thing, and businesses, because a lot of businesses, they're going to suffer. Some are going to make it, and some
Yeah.
of them aren't, and that happens in any kind of crisis. But just because it's a crisis doesn't mean that everybody goes broke.
That's
A
right.
lot of millionaires come out of times of crisis. it's
True.
it's instead of jumping into the fear, it's like, okay, what can we do to make this better? Start getting
Yeah.
resourceful and start reaching out and start seeing what is available out there. You look at the network industry, the network
Mhm.
marketing industry, and that's been building up for years and years and years, right?
Yeah.
Well, where is it going to go now, right? So when you look at that home-based business, people want to do a side hustle. We had
Hmm.
side hustles of all forms. Well, if Uber was your side hustle, it
Sure.
isn't anymore, right?
That's
Right?
true.
So what do you do? So I think people are starting to look at different directions, but again, it's not just jumping into this or jumping into that. Regardless of what business that you're doing, there's three key elements. Is it what people want?
Hmm.
Is it what they need? And how is it going to impact them financially?
Right.
Right? And so right now the biggest finance thing is what is, how am I going to feed my family? How am
Mhm.
I going to keep a roof over their head, so to speak, right? And so if I'm investing what capital I do have, I better be really creative and make sure that that's what I want to do. So in your field, it's interesting that you say, because people are coming to you, the dream team experts, right,
Yeah.
on how to manage that.
Yeah.
So sharing that information, and how long did it take you, and your husband, to be able to boil that down into that time period and to make what you do? And how did you go out there and find your clients and stuff? How did you expose yourself to that to make it work? I think that's probably the biggest questions that people getting into their business, whatever it is, and wanting to start a business now, don't know where to go or how to do it, or where to even start.
Yeah. Well, for us, I mean, we've spent the last solid 10 years investing in different trainings, masterminds, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, not only in like almost mini MBAs, but just training and learning from the gurus. And then for John and I, we specifically pulled all the areas together. We saw people continuing to have the same areas of hangups, like the same roadblocks.
Okay.
And we were one of few. The reason they called us the dream team is we were one of few that were able to create our own business, actually launch it successfully with and without paid ads. And so what we do is we took all of that knowledge and boiled it down. We found that people were not able to consume the content. Maybe they bought a $12,000 training with lots of coaching, but the videos were like 2 hours long or 4 hours or 90 minutes. And people didn't have time to process all of this knowledge while they're working full time. So John and I took all of those. My master's is in education and program design. And then my husband is amazing at marketing and business, and we've built businesses from scratch to six figures. So we have a lot of business background, and both of our parents, we come from families of entrepreneurs. So for us, we know what that looks like for a lifestyle, and we boiled it down to creating a power 20-minute training that we tell our clients, if you started today and did 20 minutes a day, dedicated that to your business, if you went through and watched your videos like 10 minutes or less with an action step. So we built it for like the working man that, is doing it on his lunch break, or the mom who needs a side hustle and get this going. It's the structure for creatives to succeed within, is like how I like to explain it. So we built the structure that if you started today, you could have your business up and going and be launched within 6 weeks. I've had clients actually enroll their first clients and be making $2,000 within 4 weeks. So our whole program is based on your individual purpose.
Sure.
And that's really different. Like we help people figure out what are their skills and talents, what are the stories of their life. And the big umbrella, I think the overlying thing for us is, how do you turn the challenges from your life into blessings? Like we're always looking for the good that came from it, and then you can teach that to someone else. And so we teach our clients how to have their own high-paying consulting business. So step by step, we take them through the process of learning their purpose. We teach them how to actually set up their formal business, so they have their LLC and they're ready to be making money and have a way to harness that by the end of the program. We teach them how to attract their ideal clients, how to actually share their story in a way that gets people to take action with them. Right. And then we teach them personal brand, their products, and the very last part is enrollment. But it's really like a mini MBA that we made it at an affordable price point for people where, if you have that level of commitment, you're going to invest. If you're looking for a very wise way, all of this 6-week program I teach, it's organic. So people don't have to spend money on ads, whether you're face-to-face with someone or you have we just did a virtual retreat and I went from idea to go and just served people. And we had over 100 people join that group in a week. So wow. That's yeah. And it was a cool concept because for me, I always want to lead. I've done live events, I've done retreats, but I know people who are used to speaking are scrambling right now. If their whole market strategy was live events, they don't know what to do. Right. So I showed them, look, we can do virtual retreats. This is actually cool. People don't have to spend the money on travel. You're not out $10,000 to set up your event and the venue and food. And most of our clients, they're just so excited because they can afford to get in the program, and we coach them all along the way. It's like customer service, like people have never seen. That's why they call us the dream team. They're like, you guys are the dream that I thought I was going to when I invested $45,000, but you do it for $3,000. Like people, it kind of blows their mind.
Right. Well, and I you tapped on something really, really good there. Affordable.
Yes.
Does that mean that you're less valuing yourself? No. It means that you're able to reach out, because you can't give it away, you know,
Yeah.
and it's got to be, like you say, affordable, but it's also got to be where it's going to work for you as well, you know,
Right.
so it's a win-win on both sides. You know, you undercharge, then the value kind of, right? You
Yeah.
overcharge, and then it's very limited,
That's
right? And
right.
so it's, where's that balance? And it's like in anything, and even what you're teaching, it's bringing that balance together. You know, it's like
Right.
two ends of the spectrum, bring them back down here into that reality. And I like what you said about virtual, right? Because I am all over this virtual thing, and it happened. And before we went into this quarantine thing, I was
Yeah.
working with my partner, and so we were building a virtual reality. Are you familiar with virtual reality?
Yeah. My brother designs that. It's cool.
Okay, so the actual Oculus glasses
Uh-huh.
thing. Okay, so well, we're working on a platform where you don't need the glasses, right?
Nice.
And we're creating a virtual networking group, kind of like your chambers, your
Yeah.
BNIs, lead groups, and things like that. But we're
Love
doing it on the virtual platform, so it's wide open to anybody and everybody because it goes global,
it. Oh, cool.
right? And so we're looking for leaders who want to lead a group like
Mhm.
that, or just for people who want to be a part of that lead group, to be able to bring their entrepreneurship or their business, whatever it is, out there to that platform in a broad spectrum, and not be able to be held back. So, and what happens in these virtual meetings is just like when you go to a regular networking meeting.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have your 30 seconds of fame. Hi, my name is so and so. This is what I do, you know, and there'll be training going on. You'll be able to be spotlighted, right? And we're looking for it to grow, and we've just been doing this for a couple of weeks now, and the response has been phenomenal. So anybody out there listening, if you're interested in something like that, please comment below. If you're interested in hearing more about what Trina has to say, and what she does, you know, comment below. Right? This is all about you. This show is helping you to become that better you. And look at this dream team that's out there making it happen, making your reality become that betterness in, you know, and everything. So it's a beautiful information that you're sharing here. And so be able to do that in the limelight. And like you say, you know, I personally too know speakers who live events were their mainstay, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden,
Sure.
what do you do?
Mhm.
I have seen more virtual retreats come across my Facebook
Yeah.
thing. I have been invited to so many different things. I've been asked to speak on, you know, several different platforms, and it's like, holy cow, you know, it, people are really doing it. They're out there, and
Great.
it's getting inundated to the point like, whoa, wait a minute, there's only so many hours in the day, right? And it's like, okay, you're doing what, where? And
Yes.
again, I think it's also being creative on what it is that you're doing
Hmm.
to make it different from everybody else's, and not just a talk. You know, I
Great.
information is great. However, if you don't take that information and act on it, then it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
That's right.
Let's see what's, oh, running out of time. I can't be running out of time. So, oh my gosh, what is going on here? Okay, we're back. I don't know what that is. That's called technology, right? Technology. So, anyway, it's been, you know, it's been interesting so far, this conversation and where it's going and the direction that it can help people. So, what is it that you do? How do we get there? And again, videos. Oh, I could so agree with you. Hours long videos, you know, that just keep on going and going, and it's like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Right? And like you say, the time, and working with online courses and breaking them down in those small pieces and in those baby steps. You know, it's different if you're in a classroom setting and everybody is there. You know, now you
Yes.
got Q&As and there's one mainstay focus. But when you're doing it at home, it's easy to get sidetracked, right?
Sure.
And so it's coming back into that. So if you're generating something out there and you're working with people, like you say, I like that whole idea of making a 20-minute video and then say, here, put that to use for this week or this day or these 3 days or whatever, you know, use it. If you don't use it and put it to use, then the next one it doesn't matter, right?
That's right.
So staying on track and staying focused, and again, purchasing. You know, how many of you guys out there, you know, comment below, how many of you out there have invested in a program and you were going to get to it, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. Right?
Yeah, there was no time. There was no time. And that's the big thing we wanted to do, was honor people's time. And we know no matter where people are in their journey with their families or entrepreneurs or working, if we could give them the gold, you know, and use their time efficiently and be very effective and organized, then people can take those action steps. Because, you know, as an entrepreneur, it takes courage, you know, to do those things and put yourself out there and be consistent. And then we support our clients. They get live weekly group coaching with us. We do at least 6 live calls with people in our program. So each week they get that support from my husband and I, where we handle mindset and we handle exactly where they are in the program. But we don't limit people. Like, we do ongoing enrollment. So we always have people that are out of our entry-level program. They make enough. Like, we want our people to really have their business up and going. And then we have higher level programs. Some people want to work with us for a year. Some people go on, and we have options where they work with us and we build out all of their online platform and advertising, because my husband's a tech guru. So that's nice.
That helps to have one of those in the house, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's why people say you're the dream team, because we literally in-house are able to handle all of the modalities, you know, for a business to make it successful. But we always teach people that duplicatable organic strategy right off the bat, so you can be profitable. We're not expecting someone to go spend 20,000 in ads. It's like, no, go get this win. So we teach free Facebook groups you can set up. We teach having that messaging down so you know exactly what resonates with people. And there's so many fun ways to just attract your ideal client so they show up to you. You know, I enrolled a $3,000 client just for my podcast, because when I shared what she did, I interview my dream clients, you know, and then they'll be like, I want to work with you. And so it's just a fun way to share and connect with people.
And that's what it is. It's connecting, and it's learning how to connect on a different format, you know, and, you know, and getting that technology down. And, you know, yeah, there's pros and cons in technology, but, you know, you roll with the punches. Right? And now, because it's so inundated, I think, what were the stats with Zoom? They went from,
it's
like off 200,000 people to 2 million people, or some ungodly crazy number, you know. And it's like, wow. I mean, I had to experience that myself, you know, with some of the, you know, the hacking and stuff that went on. And you know, where I mean, I'm racking my brain and I'm going through with my tech guys, like, what happened, you know, check and double check and recheck, you know. And everything on this end was good. And then, you know, they changed things in Zoom. So okay. So now let's fix that. It's just like this little blurb we just had here. What was that? Yeah. Right?
Like adapting.
I'm not using a free version. So I shouldn't be cut off in time. Why is it telling me my time's running out? You know, it's like, okay, what's going on here? You know, so if we do get cut off on this video, it's because another glitch, but whatever. Hopefully that won't happen, right? But Trina, tell the audience how they can get a hold of you besides commenting below here.
Absolutely. So if you go to gunzelfamilybrands.com, so just Gunzel familybrands.com, we have a roadmap to more there. It's just a free book you can download. You put your name and email, and then you'll actually have the opportunity to talk directly with me. If you want to schedule a call, there's a calendar event that'll come up, but we do a mini training on there to help you know how to create your own family business. And we set up kind of a model and we share that with people. You'll see client testimonials on there. So yeah, www.gunzelfamilybrands.com. On Facebook, John and Trina Gunzel is our main business page, and Jon and Trina Gunzel. And we always brand on our names, because then no matter what products you have, you know, we have a family, we have a marriage brand, we do a 50 Days of Success Challenge. We have our book, Can't Diabetes. It's the highs and lows of raising a type 1 diabetic child. So all of those ways, and you can personally reach out to me on Facebook, just at Trina Gunzel. that's the big thing with John and I. We are the gurus. So when you talk with us on the calls or in our group, we don't give you sub coaches. Like that's something we're not willing to compromise on.
Right.
We used to only do $100,000 one-on-one, very high-end celebrity clients, and we've boiled our program down so that it's more accessible to the masses at a price point where we still get that $100,000 quality, and everybody's a VIP in our book. So we're helping families literally spend more time together, break out of the 9 to 5 bubble, and have ultimate freedom. Like for me, literally one of my favorite classes, I taught outside of Yellowstone. I was on 50. I camped with my family. I drove 15 minutes outside the park. I taught a course I was teaching for women to help them. It was Foundations of a Wellness Mindset. And then when my call was over, I went back in the park with my family and I didn't work again until the next week. It was just ultimate time freedom. You know, that's what I want for you. Spend time with your families and be able to create a positive ripple effect in the world. That's what we love.
That is so awesome. And, oh, you just hit on something. I love Yellowstone. I have family that lives all over, you know, out there, and I have a lot of friends and clients and stuff. And I lived like 30 minutes outside of the East Gate towards Cody direction, right? And was able to go in. Oh my gosh, we were in the park probably 3 or 4 times a week, you know, just hiking around in there and going around. And I have a friend who is a painter that lives in Cody. He's a well-known artist. I mean, unbelievable. Well, he was commissioned to do, what was it, 300 waterfalls of Yellowstone. So walking into the back country and hiking back there to do these waterfalls. And so he tells me, he says, Beverly, you want to go on a hike with me? And it's like, yeah. Right? So seeing areas of the park that are untouchable. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. But there's so much in Yellowstone. It's just, yeah, it's so beautiful. And being able to travel, you told me you traveled all over. You're doing, what, 50 states in 50 months or something like that?
Yeah.
I can honestly say I've been every 50 states, including Alaska and Hawaii, right? And there's beauty in each one of them.
Right.
But I have to say my heart is in the Western United States.
Right?
That's where I grew up. I have to say that. It's just, there's just that love of, I guess, the wilderness, the adventure, and yeah.
That's where I grew up in Arizona too. So I'm a sunshine girl. Just spreading sunshine wherever I go.
That's good. I was actually born and raised in Iowa. And
oh, wow.
Then, yeah, and then in 79, I moved to Denver and never looked back, right? There's 11 of us kids, so we're kind of scattered all over, which is kind of fun. But my dad's family was in Montana. So we drove from Iowa to Montana every year. Beautiful. And so you got to see a lot of the different, you know, way of life and whatever. But being out there for me through Wyoming and Montana, Idaho, Colorado, you know, Arizona, New Mexico, even Nevada. I lived in Las Vegas for quite a while. And Washington, Oregon, you know, even California. 8 months.
Yes. My husband and I, so we have 2 kids that are awesome. They are amazing people, Wyatt and Abby. 3 years ago, my son is 15 now and my daughter's 10. But 3 years ago, we were living in our perfect little like family farm. We had 6.5 acres, our dream house, like 4,000 square feet, huge shop, everything you can imagine under the sun. And we just found that we weren't getting there. We were doing a lot of things and we loved our life and we loved our community, but we felt a really strong prompting calling to go help a lot more people. And we could not ignore this over and over, that we were supposed to lay everything down and go help more people. And so we made a list as a family and we made a plan of how to go from idea to launched in 8 weeks. And so literally we talked about it as a family. We made this dream bucket list. We all went through and made sticky notes of what things we wanted to do together before our son was 18. And it was a really cool process. My daughter was so little, all she could do was like the drawings at that time. And my son wrote his things and I wrote the things I wanted to do with my kids and my husband did too. And we put all of our sticky notes on this giant Post-it note. And then we went through and saw which things we had in common, which experiences we wanted to have together. And when we looked at our list, we knew there was no way we would be able to accomplish all of that in the time we had remaining with our son until he was 18. And so we thought about it really hard and we said, what if we sold everything? And we had a big fifth wheel at the time in our truck and went on the road. One of my husband's dreams was to see all 50 states as a family before we, our son was grown. And we had only seen maybe 12 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought about it and we're like, that would be really cool. Like, we're never going to have this window of time again as a family all together under one roof. We already had our virtual business. So we said, hey, as long as we have a cell signal, we can do this. And we figured out the hot spots, we figured out the traveling mailbox so that we could have our mail at one place. And everything just fell into place. A friend knew someone who wanted to buy our house. So our house sold really fast, like within 3 months.
Wow.
We literally packed what we needed into our fifth wheel and called an estate sale company, and they handled everything. We literally had our house clean, made our beds, and just left. The guy,
I love that.
Yeah. And we're pretty young, and so our estate sale guy, when he came, he said, it looks like you were raptured. He goes, your house is perfect. Everything's so nice. Like, didn't you want to take anything? We said, we took the essentials and we're just going. We want to have more experiences with our kids and ultimate time freedom. And so we began this epic journey, and we literally have seen 38 states with our kids. We've been full time on the road the last, I think it's about 3 years now. We've taken them to Europe twice, where they've seen they could just live out of a backpack for a month on cruises. And for us, we just wanted them to know that they could make friends anywhere. And I teach my kids that their friends are everywhere. They just have to ask their name. And we also kind of live by the mantra of the world is our classroom, and you can make anywhere you go feel like home. So now, by the end of the tour, my kids will have friends or family in every state. They know how to create mobile businesses, whether my daughter would create little bows and sell them for dogs, or they did a dog walking business on the road. They went to swap meets and sold their stuff as they grew. And then my kids, we actually have a second program now. We have adults that want their own business, and we have a young entrepreneurs group of kids right now, 10 to 18, who are in our youth group, whose parents have said, why would I spend $90,000 on college? I could spend $3,000, have my kid in your program, and they will have skills for life, sales, knowing how to create their own business, all the marketing and management. So that's been really fun. And then during this time right now, it's really interesting because we can't travel. And so we have some friends who needed like a place remodeled. So we're teaching our kids all the remodeling. We did construction for years, and we took on this project, and that's math. How better to teach geometry than building something and measuring with actual measuring tape. So they're having fun with that. And my son will have a trade. Not only do they have their own business, he could be a handyman, or our friend said, if you marry a handyman, you live your life at half price. They fix everything. So that's what my husband is too.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And there is so much out there, that we miss because, someday, right? True. That's not a day of the week, but everybody has that someday, right? Someday I'm going to. Someday I'm going to. And, oh God, I've been on the road since '97.
Wow, cool.
And I'm out there with me, myself, and I. We have a great time, right? And my kids know it, and so when we talk, it's like, oh, where are you at, Mom?
Yeah.
Right. But they're adventurous too,
Mm-hmm.
They're adventurous and have done their traveling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't matter whether you have a family or not. When I moved to Denver, it was in the 80s. It was in '79, and started my own business in 1980, and it grew. It was in the automotive industry. It grew really big.
Mm-hmm.
And so the partner I had at that time, what we did is we left every weekend. We were gone Friday after work. We usually finished up early on Friday, right? And the kids were out of school, or if it's the summertime, didn't matter. But every weekend we went somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere. And so they got that little gypsy in their blood too, right? And they do travel. They like that movement and whatever, which is really great because there's so much out there. And it's sad. I've talked with people who have never moved out of a 20-mile radius,
Yeah, it's
right?
more common than you think.
And,
Yeah.
and living in Denver, it's like people that have never been out of the city and been to the mountain.
Right.
Here, it's like, oh my gosh,
Oh
right?
yeah. We
I
spent 4th of July in Ouray, Colorado, and my
yeah.
kids will always remember that. It was
Oh,
gorgeous with
this.
the fireworks in the canyon, and they will think, I mean, the memories everywhere, Cherry,
Yes, yes.
Wisconsin, and oh, so fun.
Yeah, every state has something that's totally memorable.
Right.
Yeah, I had the opportunity this last fall to go up in the northeast U.S. with a friend where we were in an RV and we just went to see all the different colors and stuff.
Oh,
And,
beautiful.
and one of my biggest list things was to go to Niagara Falls, and we actually
Mm-hmm.
went to Niagara Falls. Oh
Oh,
my gosh, that was awesome! But
I
being
can't
able
wait.
to maneuver around all the states up there, it's
Mm-hmm.
interesting because they're so small.
Yes,
So
you
it,
could see them all versus Texas. It takes 3 months.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So you're bopping from one state to the next, especially when you get down there by Delaware and Connecticut and Massachusetts on the corner there and everything. It's just, but it's really fun. And every state, like I said, has something there that's memorable, something there that has beauty in its own right. Um, where do you feel your heart? Where do you feel that drawn? What what's your purpose? What's your why? And looking with the story you just shared here with me and with our audience is, where is that story at with you, and your why is those two children that you have, to be able to take them on this journey with you as a unit.
Mm-hmm.
And now with the way the world is it's bringing that family unit back together. What are you going to do with this time that you have with your family now? Why are you allowing it to be static when it should be harmony,
Yeah.
right? Open up those lines of communication, and just really sit down and build something. I mean, great idea. What do we want to do, you know, with our life? Because our life is going to be out of this little conjunct here before we
Mm-hmm.
know it. So what are we going to do when we get out there? What can we do to make that better as we continue to grow, right? So think about that. What are you going to do to change that now? Sit down as a family unit. Make your little sticky notes. Then bring them up there and see where the sameness is and where the difference is, and then put it together and make it happen. Make it happen. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. Make it happen. So kudos, Trina, with what you guys did. And I love that idea, working with your children like that, to give them that entrepreneurship. Because if you don't do it at a young age, it's harder, the older you get. And we're in this mindset of, you got to go get a job. It's a 9 to 5. It's a 9 to 5. It's not. It's,
Right.
where is your time? What is your purpose? Where is your value? What is your passion? And a
Yeah.
child can have just as much passion as an adult, right? And how can
Absolutely.
we help build that child's passion? By listening.
Mm-hmm.
By listening. Let them share with you what their dream is, and it will help you to bring back your dream that maybe got lost in the shuffle of what we call life, right?
So true. That's beautiful. It is. And just honoring their gifts and talents. And that's part of why, like right now, we're going to be having a little farm life again. We did the full time travel, and we talked about just staying in a condo or waiting because we can't really travel much right now.
Right?
But kids love having animals. So they're excited. We have our little baby chicks and ducks on order again. So people have so much fun. They love seeing that interaction with the animals, and they want to do little classes, and teach kids about this and how to raise animals. And um, it's just really fun, but that's part of who they are. So cultivating, what are those dreams and experiences? And for me, it's giving them lots of opportunities to learn and grow from different things, because right now they're still forming their ideas and opinions on what they want to do. And I am not saying everybody would want to sell everything and go on the road like we did. I wouldn't even say I'd recommend it. It's not everyone wants to do that. But for us, I wanted my kids to just have that humble experience too, and not grow up feeling entitled, but to see what it's like to be able to build up, and who knows where they'll want to live, when they grow up. But I know that they're gonna be comfortable anywhere, no matter where their spouses are. They're going to have favorite restaurants and favorite things to do in every state.
Right.
We always find the common things like the library, find a park, find a favorite restaurant, find the grocery store. And when you have those common things, my kids saw the real world, that people are basically good, and there were friendly people, and we made friends everywhere we went. So I really encourage people, not to get skewed from the media, but create your own life and really focus on what's going on right there under your own roof. Like you said, increase your communication, have some shared experiences, be afraid to fail, make that recipe, even if it doesn't turn out great. I'm not the best baker, but my daughter loves to bake. So we try and we create things together, and we're always making a memory. And that's the thing, you won't get this time back. So just enjoy it. Maybe that means you're snuggling, reading books for a day, or watching a special movie. Everything doesn't have to be Pinterest perfect, but those experiences together are
Right.
what keep the family strong and healthy.
And getting back to that basics, I think, because we've lost so much. There was so much distancing that
Mhm.
we were so separated, way
Yeah,
too much, that
right,
this was a shock back into bringing that family unit back together again,
right.
and working together. I mean, how many times have you been in an office where you went to meet someone or whatever, because you had a meeting, and it's like the separation. Everybody
Yeah.
has their little cubicle that they walk into, and
Mhm.
it's just like the unit. It's like the
Yeah,
unit was gone. People need people. End of
that's right.
story, right? And
Yeah,
that interaction. And so, how do you have that interaction? And being so concerned about um, what people are thinking about you.
mhm.
Are they are
Well,
they
when you
gonna?
said your community, right? Whether it's your Facebook group and community, that's what I love. My whole purpose is to help leaders magnify their influence in the world. So I attract leaders. I work with leaders. I help them clear up their message and be able to share it. And when you create your own Facebook group based on your interests, maybe you love crochet, maybe you love singing or violin or whatever your specialty is, maybe it's communication or presenting. You can have a group that starts just like that and invite people who would be your ideal clients into that group and just offer value, connect with them, have little mini virtual live events. And then if you have paid programs, you can offer that too, because a lot of people, I tell them, when you check your Facebook page or your profile or online, make sure people know what you do, because a lot of times people are hesitant to share with friends and family, and I'm like, you're leaving an opportunity, that you're offering to all these other people. Why would you leave your family and friends out? I
Yeah.
have so many family and friends reaching out saying, oh my gosh, I know you know how to help me create a business from home. I want to work with my husband or my kids, or maybe they're on their own, they're single, and they're like, I want to start my own business, but I want to help. And they're a part of our family. Our community, we're very family centered. So we get single people coming in, divorce, we get family units, and they're all part of a larger family because we have hearts to serve and help everybody teach what they know. I say, if you're 2 steps ahead of your clients, you are somebody who's an expert at whatever your thing is,
Right.
and you could teach that.
Yeah, you probably hear the same thing I do. Well, why would anybody want to listen to me? Why would they want to do business with me? And like you say, everyone is an expert in their own right. And
That's right.
sometimes I think that word expert is a little overrated.
Yeah.
It's we can always learn from someone, and someone can always learn from us. So if you keep an open mind, because
Yep.
some of my clients have been my greatest teachers,
Yeah.
right?
Sure. And that
And
mentoring, that's such a blessing, in mentoring others.
right,
Really what it
yeah,
is, it's
yeah,
paid mentorship, and different people want more expertise than others,
right. And it always helps to be able to have that interaction and that conversation, because
Mhm.
everyone has a different viewpoint, and so when you can change that perspective, and it's like, wow, I never thought about that.
That's right.
And that's why mastermind groups are so powerful, right?
Mhm.
And I think one of the hardest things for people to get past is that fear of being judged,
Mm.
right? The fear of looking stupid by saying something if they're not sure. So asking the question. So they don't want to ask the question thinking that, what do you mean you don't know that? Are you stupid?
Mm.
That's what's running through their mind, right? When in essence, it really isn't. You know,
Right.
the only stupid question is the one that doesn't get asked, right?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
and
And I
it's
think a lot of times the coach, like, or consultant, whoever's leading that community, has a lot to do with that, because I can feel that from you. You're very real and authentic. So am I. It's just one of those, like, And so people connect. Like I've shared stories of me having miscarriages and struggles, and they know my story is real. So it builds that trust
Right.
where I think some communities I've been in, there's just such a level of fake there. People
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable sharing authentically, you
Right.
know? So that was like me. I'm like, oh, we're going live. Well, I have my hair in braided ponytails because I'm working on a remodel, doing a construction project, and I'm coaching my clients live once a week. So it's like, I'm real. I just showed up. Here we go.
You
But
know, that's
showed
what
up.
exactly that's what it's all about, and that's why this was not preempted or anything.
Yeah,
It was, this is organic. This is being real. When
that's
people
right.
can see that you're real, it doesn't matter,
That's
right?
right.
And to be able to say, yeah, I can share. So this is me. If you
Yeah,
don't like what
that's
you
right.
see, well, click it off. it,
Exactly. Well, and
it,
it's nice. I mean, really, we teach our clients that. Most people don't understand right away, but we're like, you're only trying to attract 3%. Like we teach our clients, you want to actually push people away that aren't your ideal clients because it's not going to be fun for you to work with them. And I would never encourage people when someone's not a good fit. I literally turn people away each month, but I refer them to somebody who I know would be a great fit for them.
and that's why it's getting to know other people, and
That's
so
right.
so people that are even in your same field,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
still everything that you do different,
Right.
and again, the energetic, it's like, it just doesn't click with me. So
Yeah.
hey, go over here, whatever, and be able to not have that fear, like, oh, I got to take everybody that comes to me. That's not what it's all about, because you're doing them an injustice, and you're
Oh
doing
yeah,
yourself an injustice, and then you're taking up time where someone who really can appreciate and needs the service that you have to offer, they're not
that's right.
they're not getting it because you don't have space for that.
That's
So
right.
it's getting past that um, fear, I guess,
Yeah.
to be able to move into that sharing and that caring,
Hmm.
and knowing that there's millions of people around.
Yeah.
Just because this person doesn't want to be your friend,
That's right.
don't
That's
sweat it.
okay.
They're probably doing
Yeah,
you a favor.
it's true. And one
Yeah.
thing too, I just want to speak to that. You reminded me, was we've been working on like doing some power PR teams. So as a business owner, and maybe this speaks to someone, I can help someone in your audience right now. If you have businesses or friends that that have complementary services to yours, it's awesome if you team together and you do referrals for each other
Right.
because you have that third party validation, you write reviews for each other, go through each other's programs, and then you have someone to refer to.
Right.
For me, I have a finance guy I refer to, I have a woman transformation specialist I refer to, I have a high-end group coaching person I refer to, like a nutritionist, all of these people who are either in our community or connections I've made that you can do virtual events with and have as guest speakers,
Right.
or like be on a show and then help spread the word about each other's communities. That's such a great way. And for me, it feels real time. It feels like we're just sitting, I guess, maybe on a spaceship looking at the earth together.
That's what we are. We're flying around in space. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Floating out here. And life should be that way. It should
Yeah,
be that feeling that you can float anywhere in the universe and spread your message and be real, be that authentic you. And that's why being that best you that you can be is that
yes.
improvement every single day. So when you get up in the morning, so what are you going to do today
Hmm.
to make you better today than you were yesterday?
That's right. Yeah, in that routine, I'm a very creative person, but I fought routine for years. But what I found, and my husband's super organized, and he recognizes if we have a schedule, we actually get more freedom in our life. And
Right.
so for us, that balance, we actually have 4 blocks in our day that are like a school and a business block. And so it gives us time like to get up and do, prayer and have gratitude time and have a work block early in the morning. We have 2 work blocks in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, just because for us, it allows us to get those things done. And our kids know if they get all their schooling and chores done in the morning, we get more family time. Like those 2 afternoon blocks can turn into a family hike or a family adventure if we've all gotten our work done in the morning. But we break it into 2 power hours in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. So if we didn't get the morning blocks done, or say you had rough blood sugar night or something happened, you could still have time to work it in the afternoon.
Right.
But when I had a client, she went from making $2,500 in her business the first month she came into us. 2 months later, because she used our format and our schedule and our structure we give to organize your business and your family time, she took her business, grew it to 11,000 a month because she structured it. Now she's got certain blocks. Those are the only blocks she works with clients one-on-one. Or these are the only blocks you do your group teaching program. And say you enroll people at 300 per person, or 2,000 a person, or 5, you can serve more people within that one block.
And
that
then you're
really,
all focused too. You're there
right.
100% in that time, because you set that away, rather than doing a piece over here and a piece over there and a piece over there.
Exactly.
And I think this is why a lot of people have problems working
Yep.
from home, is because they're easily sidetracked, and now is your time to get that discipline, because
That's right.
especially as a mother, or or woman, because usually
Yeah.
that's the one that's in charge of the household, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is. We get lost. It's like, oh man, somebody left the dishes on the table, so you take them off. Now you're headed to your office to do something, and you walk by, and it's like, oh man, I should have thrown that load of laundry in. Boom, right? So all these distractions happen. 3 hours later, you haven't made it to your office.
Yeah, that doesn't work. You have to have that
No.
window of time. And I tell parents this too. I'm like, think about how much time your kids spend on electronics. If you let them watch even one movie a day, and my kids know, my daughter made me a little sign that goes up on my door, like when I'm doing a podcast or my 2-hour coaching call, and she knows that's her 2 hours. If she wants to watch a movie, usually that would be the window. It doesn't mean it's all day, but if you want to feel good about it and give them some downtime too,
Right.
that you're not worried where they are. I've had parents, they have their kids sit right by them and they're on a specific movie with headphones while they do their coaching call so they could see them. Or like my daughter, she started a virtual babysitting group where she uses my
I
teaching.
love it.
So cool. She's got the secret babysitter's guide for success. She trains babysitters, and she will watch, say you need a power hour. She will virtually sit with your kids, and she's got strategies, a monthly chant, a poem, a song. She teaches reading skills, and she does games with them. And the parent literally knows their kid is in a safe space, because I monitor it. I'm a master teacher. And they're not just Googling random things on the internet, because I know parents are afraid. It's like a virtual babysitter. I say, if you can sit them in front of a laptop or phone, they're right there. Maybe it's 20 minutes, maybe it's an hour, but you get that power hour to actually do something, not worrying. You set up your kid with a snack and their reading materials. It's awesome. And we never would have thought of that except this virtual time we have right now, right? When you're
that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Wow, that is so awesome. That little entrepreneur daughter you got there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And she's like my mini me, with all of her teaching skills. She's got her backpack ready to go. And so think outside the box, parents, this could be the best time, the most freeing time. And I really
yes.
Thing, for people to get back on the same page. People always wonder, how do you work together? If you want to make your own dream team in your house, think about what are your skills that you bring to the table? What are your spouses? What are your kids' skills? And then everybody pick a job that you want to do that would help contribute to the family. And then realize there's other jobs that are just things that need to get done. In our photography studio, I wanted to be helping take pictures and set up sets, but then also envelopes needed to be stuffed. So when I did that job, it was like, okay, my normal consulting is $1,000 an hour, but I'm stuffing envelopes. As an entrepreneur, you're going to do all the jobs.
That's
You
right.
need to know every job. And as you grow, you can hire people and give them positions too, because there will be somebody thrilled to do that. But just look, like there's no piece of it that you can't be humble enough to do. And it's going to grow your business.
Well,
Connection.
exactly. And to make that business successful, you need to know what each one of those are.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
That doesn't mean you have to do it for the rest of your life, but you need to know.
Exactly.
Right? And maybe you're not a finance person, right?
Yeah.
You have no problem bringing the money in, but you don't know where it's getting delegated to or whatever.
Yeah.
But you need to know those things so that when you're hiring someone that's going to take care of your expenses and pay your bills and do whatever, to be able to check it over to make sure that, how do you know that you're not getting cheated? How do you know that they're actually paying things, and all of a sudden, the IRS comes to haunt you, because you didn't pay this for the last 3 years. You're going to go, what?
Yeah.
So you need to know every aspect of your business regardless of what it is, and not allow yourself to say, hey, I'm better than that. That's beneath me. I can't stuff envelopes. Are you kidding me? It's like, seriously? right? So be able to grow with it and go through every step of that process, because that's what makes your business successful
Mm-hmm.
and long lasting.
That's right. And when you can do that anywhere, that's the thing. Like, you're not, I think people right now will see a lot of businesses that made their employees come in easily shifted remotely. So
Oh,
I'm going
they,
to be,
yeah,
it's just how many of those, parents or anyone, if you love what you're doing from home right now, don't be afraid to ask to keep doing this when
and I
things
think
change.
there's going to be a lot of them that will, because look
Mhm.
at the money that they're going to save on the rent,
Ooh.
right? And even the time element, and they can be productive at home if they have that discipline, which now they're going to have, is almost like forced on them,
Yeah.
right? To be able to still have that productivity. And what better place for a mom to be able to have that child at home and take care of them, and no more sick days or things like that, and they're still getting the work done, it's getting productive. Why
Yeah.
would a boss force that? And I think we're going to really see a whole lot of changes with that when we
Yeah,
combine
and I
this.
think it'd be cool too for the social piece.
Yeah,
Why not get together with what you're saving on rent and all that and have a live event or retreat with your amazing community and get people together a couple
right,
times a year. Bring in guest speakers, do things that really help. And if they work at home, I would encourage people who are still working through this. I know when my kids were little, when my kids took a nap, that was my power. My kids used to sleep for 2 hours. Like, they did a 2 hour nap in the afternoon. That was my power window.
right.
I'm an author. I have like 5 books published. The only way that happened, I would get up and write from sometimes 2 or 4 in the morning till 8,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew when their little feet hit the floor, it was going to be busy.
Right.
But here's a tip for parents. I'm just trying to think of some of these strategies that help since you asked. Um, in the morning, if I didn't like do my morning work time and didn't start that until 10, the reason that 10 o'clock time came up is I could love on my kids. I could make them breakfast. I could help them with what they needed and get them organized for their day, maybe check in homework, get them set up. And then they felt good because I had given them some mommy time. And then when I started work at 10 or 10 to 12, they were working on their chores, those dishes, laundry, cleaning,
Right.
schoolwork, and knew that was my window. And then after that, yeah, let's do it. Let's go for a hike. I can help them with their homework. Email. You can respond to that all day, or you could pick a power,
A
you
power
know,
time.
20
Right.
minutes and
And
handle those things. Same with
exactly.
social media. Don't make it take all day. Respond once in the morning, maybe check at lunch, but set a window, because you can spend 8 hours of unproductive time, right?
That's
Or
right.
try a power 20 minutes and say that's all the time I'm going to allocate to this, and get those things done and be more efficient. Then your life quality gets better.
Right. I love that story, because I did the same thing with my kids, right? Kids don't want your time 24 hours. They just
Yeah,
want your time. And when
that's
you,
right.
again, you talk about routine, so you get into that routine. I was freelancing for 5 different newspapers when my kids were very little, right?
Uh-huh.
And so there was a time when I had to make all the calls out. We're talking back in the 70s, okay? So we
Yeah.
didn't have what we have today for this kind of
Yeah.
connection. So, you got them up, you had breakfast, you did your little loving and whatever, and then they knew at 9 o'clock, this is when mom was making her calls,
Right.
right? And so now they took whatever they did. They had their playtime, they had their their TV time, which was the little Sesame Streets or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So they're watching that, and
Mm.
and then I was, I made my calls, because I had, back then probably anywhere from 30 to 50 calls,
Uh-huh. It's a
right?
lot.
That, yeah, it was, and then now that I got all the information from them, what I needed, then I had a little breather. Now it was lunchtime, and we did whatever, and then they went down for a nap. Now I had to
Yep.
go over all my notes and everything and type everything up,
See?
right?
Yeah.
And
Great.
that was the base of typing,
Mhm.
and you couldn't do duplicates for the simple fact, because you couldn't read it, when you were typing with, oh, that's,
Yeah.
I don't even think about those days. Right? So you're having to retype, because I did 5 papers, right? And then seal it all up. And so then we woke up from their nap, we walked up to the post office, right? And did our little walk afterwards and went around. So again, you create that time,
Great.
and you make that a routine, and that way it gives you personal time, it gives your kids personal times, because like you said, they don't always want to be hanging on you, but they just want that time when they know they can,
Sure.
when they have a delegated time.
Hmm.
It
And
makes a
just
difference.
organization with that helps, right? Like my kids know, here are the snacks. You can have like there's breakfast, I fruit bowl or some nuts. I'm like, you can have one snack between each meal. And then, it's like, especially with people inside right now, they could go through all their food really fast.
Oh
I
my
mean, I have a
gosh, yeah.
boy. So we're putting some organization on that too, where it's like, we're going to make the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you can have a snack, one snack between each meal. That's been huge. But then honoring like things they can make themselves, like a cheese roll up, a sandwich, a salad, easy on their own for lunch.
Yeah, and
And
as
then
they
I
get a little bit older, that changes, and
Oh, totally. But family dinner, I'm really hoping that our country or, brings that back. I know for us on the road, that's probably the one biggest thing we missed. We didn't always have a big table, or if it was raining, to eat around the table. This like farm home, we got a really cool big table again, and I'm so excited because just family dinners together are such a big deal to me. I know I grew up with that, and we'd all talk about our day and, make a special meal, but just simplifying things. I hope that families are seeing that just because you're not doing things traditionally doesn't mean it's bad. This is actually the
exactly.
way it's been for most of history.
Right,
People worked at home, they whether it was gardening or you had a
right,
trade, raising your kids. All of the nobles always homeschooled their kids with tutors or mentors, so just thinking about that, and
right.
just to take some stress off parents. As a teacher, use this time to teach your kids essential life skills.
Yes.
Sure, change the oil in your car. Don't worry about the traditional school curriculum. If you can get your kids present time and do hands-on things, teach them some skills like sewing. I'm seeing people sewing all the masks, cooking meals, laundry,
Right.
how to braid, like things that they need to know, balancing a checkbook. Like we found a program. I get nothing from this. I just want to help because we love this program. It's called YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget. YNAB. It's amazing. It's relatively inexpensive, and like we set it up with our kids to help them manage their money. Like you give every dollar a job. It's so cool. It's the best budgeting program I've ever seen, and there's a phone app. You can't even really do referrals. I get no commission, but it's just I have to spread the word because as people are really trying to manage their money
Right.
and make maybe a dollar go further right now, it's a great way to get a hold of your finances, slow down, and really look at when things turn around here and we're able to go and travel again, create the life you want. Don't feel like you're stuck in that bubble. You just broke out, so only put the things back in your life you really want to be there.
Right.
And don't be feeling like you have to keep up with this craziness. We
Because
play
you don't.
football.
Right.
You don't. Yeah, it's your life. You get to create it.
Yeah. Wow. Great information. Great information, Trina. I mean, we could keep talking for
I
hours.
know your soul sister. I love it.
We're definitely going to have to get you back on the show here, and I think we got plenty here to go. We got a part one and we got a part two, right? And
Awesome.
thank you again so much for joining us. It's been
Good.
amazing having you here. Tell their audience again, how they can reach you.
Yeah, please go on to our website. Go to www.gunzelfamilybrands.com. That's Gunzel familybrands.com. There's a free roadmap to more time, money, love, and freedom for anybody curious about this, like outside the box life. And then you'll have a chance. You can schedule an opportunity call, and I'll get on the phone and we'll talk about your individual success plan. You can also reach out to me personally at Trina Gunzel. If you'd rather, I have just a site called trinagunzel.com, and then you can set up, see how to work with me. You can check in about my consulting work and learn a little bit more about my background. And on Facebook, you can just go to John and Trina Gunzel or Trina Gunzel and like my page. I have an author page too. But either way, those are great ways to get in touch with me. You can just even search Trina Gunzel and you'll find our YouTube video where we share our story of how we decided to go on this 50-state tour. That's really fun. And lots of ways to connect with us on social media there.
Yeah, just remember that name, Trina
That's
Gunzel,
right.
right?
That's right.
Well, thank you again, Trina, for being here, and thank you, audience, for listening in again. If you got something out of this, comment below. That's what we're all about. We want to know
Yeah.
what you liked about this show, and if you want it back, let me know. Right? Private message, either one of us, but make the best of what you have, and go out there and be that best you that you can be, because Trina and I are going to be the best we that we can be. Right, Trina?
I love it. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It was an absolute pleasure. And if your audience has specific questions more about homeschooling, business, life, we could go on for hours. A wealth of information, both of us are. So it's excited. I'm excited to get to know you, and I enjoyed being on your show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we will definitely be in touch, continuing and see where this all goes. So everyone, go out there, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next show.
Okay, bye-bye.